Well, hi there, and Merry Christmas to you. I want to share a brief story with you about a young boy who remembered to keep Christ in Christmas naturally, and how we can all learn from that. So let's talk about that today. Welcome to the Manna from My Father's Hand podcast. Lisa Prokopowitz here from ShiningRiver.com with the desire to build up the body of Christ and encourage us all to draw nearer to Him. This story happened years ago when our son, who is now a grown adult, was a young boy, about 4 years old. In fact, he had just turned 4, and it was right before Christmas, because his birthday is a couple weeks before Christmas. And Christmas is such a wonderful time. It's filled with warmth and joy and hope, especially when children enter into the picture. That Christmas was no different. In fact, Christmas had become so wonderful to us because our world had changed after having a son born a couple weeks before Christmas a few years earlier. So at that point, when he was 4, he had just gone through his 4th year of birthday parties, right? And this time he finally understood what it was about. So he was in that stage where he was learning about gift giving, and he would wrap little things up, little toys, and put them in a leaf as a wrapping paper. It was so cute. He would wrap things in crumpled paper, whatever he could find. And he was so intrigued with that idea of giving gifts. And then, of course, after he wrapped up something in a little piece of crumpled up paper, he would give it to you and be so joyful after giving you this gift. So he had boundless imagination when he was young, and he still does. But he was always inventing things and creating. So this night that I'm talking about was actually Christmas Eve that year, and my husband and I had gone downstairs to wrap his presents while he was supposedly going to sleep, but the sugar plums must have been dancing really well that night because you could hear him up there puttering around in his room, and he had that kind of personality where he would just joyfully play around and then eventually go to sleep. Well, that night, he was very active in that room, and every now and then he'd come out and ask for something here or there and then go back in with his door closed, and he'd go back in and do whatever he was doing in there. And before he finally fell asleep, he called me to come upstairs, and he showed me something he wanted to put under the Christmas tree. And it was an old shoebox from a pair of his boots that he had gotten, and sticking out of it was a small towel that was apparently wrapped around a fairly large stick. And I thought, isn't that sweet? He wants to give us a Christmas present, and he wrapped it up, and he doesn't realize that you can tell what it is because it's sticking right out of the box. But it was so adorable seeing that. So I put the box under the tree, and his dad and I had gone overboard, which we often would do at Christmas time. And that night we put everything under the tree and all the lights and all the gifts and everything. Well, in the morning, we figured he would go running after all those gifts and just be in awe of all of that, all of the colors and everything and the presents under the tree. So on that Christmas morning, he did in fact rush over to the tree, but he seemed oblivious to all the colors and the lights and presents. He went straight for that little old shoebox, and he happily offered it as his gift to us. And of course we thought, how adorable was that? So we began to unwrap it, take it out of the little box and out of the towel that he wrapped it in, thinking we're going to be pretending to be so impressed by this beautiful stick that he gave us. But as we opened it, we looked at each other in amazement and awe, for this was not any ordinary stick that he gave us. The night before, our little boy had taken 2 sticks, used rubber bands to somehow attach them together, used magic markers to decorate them, and he had made the most touching gift I have ever received. He made a cross for us, and he was more concerned with blessing us with it than with opening any of the tempting presents under the tree. And of course, we looked at each other with tears of joy. Somehow, in his innocence, he knew that the best present is Jesus. Oh, if we could all become more like little children, right? I pray that you receive Jesus this Christmas and every day. So to this day, so many years later, that cross is one of the decorations that stands beside the creche underneath our Christmas tree each year. The rubber bands gave out over the years and had to be replaced with twine, but the profound and pure gift continues to stand firm as a testament to the simplicity of a child's love. And I pray that we can all hold that type of love in our hearts this Christmas and beyond. Today's closing music is going to be from one of my videos that I've put out recently. And in fact, this podcast and the blog that it's associated with are from day 14 of my musical Advent calendar, because the 14th is actually the day of our son's birthday. So I'm going to post this as that day's entry. If you have not heard of my musical Advent calendar, it's something that I made to bless your heart, to encourage you each day from the beginning of Advent, which was December 1st, all the way up until Christmas Eve. So the Advent calendar will be available from now until Christmas Eve. You can get more information about it at shiningriver.com/Advent. And as you'll see on there, if you join my email list and sign up for my newsletter, using that page, I will give you a discount. And even if you can't afford to buy this, I want you to have it. So let me know and I will get you access to it for free when you join my email list. Because I would way rather that you see this and that you be encouraged by it. But I do appreciate any support that you would offer. It means so much to me and provides for us. But regardless, I pray you would have a beautiful, meaningful Christmas. And if any of you that listen to my podcast wonder where have I been, I've been doing other things like that, working on this Advent calendar. And in January, I pray and I hope to be getting a membership together so you can kind of keep that in the back of your mind. But for now, I want to wish you a wonderful Merry Christmas. And thank you so much for listening. God bless you, my friend. Bye.
Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise, we let all within us praise his holy
so much for joining me today. If you'd like more encouraging and inspiring content like this, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. And also you can get even more uplifting content over at my YouTube channel, which you'll find at shiningriver.com/YouTube. This podcast is associated with a blog, which you can find at manna.shiningriver.com/blog. And however you find this content, I pray that it will always encourage your heart in the Lord and draw you closer to Jesus every time you listen. God bless you. Bye.
Dear